Hello guys and welcome to this presentation. Today's video is for science-backed direct-to-consumer brands that are spending at least $20,000 a month on meta ads. I'm going to show you how you can hit $200,000 months without dropping margins by engineering something we call evaluation state, while everyone else is racing to the bottom with fake urgency and LTV killing discounts. Before we dive any deeper, I want to show you how this oral care brand did $450,000 in just 30 days while being in an ultra commoditized category. And I know this video is long, so I want to go over who this video is for and not for. If you are a DTC founder in US, UK or in Australia, in health, wellness or in beauty space, then stick around. If you want to reach your first 8-figure year as the ad cost rises and cheap growth capital disappears, this is for you. If you want to build a really sustainable moat around your product and stop competing on price, this is for you. And if you are overwhelmed by trends and what's trending on LinkedIn or in Twitter and want to build one good sustainable system, this is for you. Or if you are tired of agency negotiations, you know you will end in 6 months due to high CPAs and wasted ad spend, this is for you. Or if you want to stop competing on price and raise prices, even as cheaper AI brands flood the market, this is for you. And if you want to break revenue plateaus without wild month-to-month swings, this is for you. But if you are selling an iPhone 6 when there are iPhone 70 Pros on the market, I'm sorry, but this exact thesis won't work for you. Or if you are spending less than $20,000 a month on meta ads, this exact strategy will not work for you yet. Let's go. The truth is, in 2026, agencies and many health, wellness and DTC brands believe that reaching profitable $200,000 months is all about a good product, market positioning and pulling the right levers on meta. Unfortunately, that's not true anymore. In the past, an excellent product, aka sold itself, it was enough. And everything else became second. But today, competition and the market saturation are at all-time highs, and especially in a health, beauty and wellness space is getting a huge hit from it. Things like skincare, sleep support, weight loss, energy supplements, just to name a few. While the consumers are squeezing their wallets, and according to the NIQ's customer survey did in 25, switching to a cheaper alternative is one of the most used strategies. As you can see in a graph, there it is at the top of it, switching to lower priced option. And second, there is shop more often at discounts / lower priced stores. And overall, consumers are more price sensitive now than ever before. This means that most DTC brands are forced to compete on price and give discounts just to stay afloat. Even science-backed products have the risk of becoming commodized when customers don't internalize how the science changes their problem they are trying to solve. So saying fewer wrinkles because of this science just doesn't make a difference anymore. The consumers aren't monkeys. When everyone else says and promises the same thing, the price becomes the only difference between those 2 or 3 products. And I'm going to ask you one question. You as a brand owner probably have dozens of marketing agencies promising you 2x revenue in 3 months, but why are you still ignoring them? The same thing applies to consumers who are being bombarded with ads that just echo each other. Like here, on the left side there's an e-commerce store, on the right side there's an e-commerce store, and in the middle there is a cheaper alternative from Walmart that costs 12 euros. If every and each of these brands say the same thing over and over and over again, the consumers are thinking, why pay extra if they are all the same? There might be differences here with the ingredients, with how it's formatted, how it's generated, or how it's used, but they promise the same thing and they look the same. Why pay extra if they are all the same? There are literally over 34,000 active ads running in US containing the word anti-aging, and 31,000 ads in Australia mentioned the word skincare, or 17,000 ads in UK containing the word bloating. So to break this ultra competitive landscape, you need to activate the evaluation state in a prospect's head, so your product doesn't seem like a commodity. Let me explain. So on the left side, here are a lot of similar products that all say the same thing. Clinically proven, best results, same offer, our natural chemicals, #1 rated, #1 reviewed product. Same claims. What this does, it creates this thick wall between your product and the consumer. And the consumer has learned to ignore similar looking stimuli. The message doesn't just reach the evaluation state, even though the consumer wants the benefit of your product. And what is evaluation state? It's a state of thinking where the price isn't the main decision driver, but the logic and understanding are. So if you wanna be different than your competitors, wanna scale your brand, you need to hit this evaluation state of the consumer's mind, where the logic and understanding rules over the price. So who we are? Hi, my name is Leivi Latvala, and here's my co-founder and partner Julius Jaatinen. And we wrote a little backstory from both of us here. So, from Julius. I was fortunate to work as a direct response copywriter at an agency. There we had 7-figure DTC brands in a health, wellness and beauty space to scale to 8 figures and beyond using Meta. Biggest clients was a multi-billion-dollar concern, and at that agency we delivered over $20 million of client revenue. I don't mean to brag, but I led many successful ad campaigns. I was also a core driver behind scaling brands from $200,000 to roughly $350,000 per month, with no drop in their margins. And a little backstory from me, I entered the e-com sector in a little bit different angle. I started with dropshipping, quickly pivoting to white label products, and finally making my own formula like a real brand. By mastering market psychology and positioning, I maximized my profits to fuel aggressive customer acquisition. This strategy allowed me to scale my first brand into 10K days within 4 months. Here is an old screenshot from my first real brand. So I had already experience in the e-commerce space when this happened, but from 61 euro days to 11.5 thousand euro days. And the insane part was I was still at the time shipping labels from my bedroom, because here in Finland we didn't have any good 3PLs to ship from. But fortunately that has already been changed in 2026. And here is me flexing with my shipping labels back in the days. The good news for you is that consumers are trading down, not opting out. So the desire for clearer skin and better health is still there. Meaning it's totally possible to achieve sustainable $200,000 months in this economy if you escape the commodity trap many brands unconsciously fall into. If you escape the commodity trap many brands unconsciously fall into. As you can see, here is a price sensitivity index by country, and US, UK and Australia are all here. Here's what we discovered. Brands in price sensitive markets need to go these 3 phases I'm going to show you to activate the evaluation and start building a competitive moat around their product to separate themselves from the price wars. This same process took that plateaued 7-figure brand to get Dragon to 8 figures without dropping their margins. So if you're ready, sit tight and let's dive in. So phase 1. Here is your consumer and his spending allocations in this economy. Your product is competing, of course, with direct competitors, but with solutions with a similar benefit, solutions that solve the same problem, and nowadays with food, necessities, rent, holidays, and bills. You need to understand this to make your product seem important and distinct in the eyes of your consumer. Your only competitors aren't just direct, but also solutions that address the same problem and offer similar benefits. For example, a collagen brand doesn't just compete with other powders, but with Botox, skincare routines, protein shakes, and absolutely doing nothing, because they all promise better skin and recovery. And here is what most agencies and brands get wrong when doing their research. They ask and think questions like, what angles do our competitors usually use? What problems do they face every single day? Have they tried to solve these problems? And what are the desires of our target audience? This is totally okay. Indeed, it's really hard to talk to your customers without knowing these. But what happens when everyone else has the same data points and inputs? It's literally why saturation and commoditization form in the market. As you can see, here is 4 different ads from different brands. What they all have in common? Well, they promise a better skin, right? If you count how many direct and indirect competitors you have and how many ads they are running, it's quite a lot, I think, right? To actually convince the customer that your product works for them and it's unique, we need to dig deeper. Without this, it's very hard to justify a premium price for your brand, isn't it? Here are some things we look for in our market research. So first, second and third order benefits after achieving the main benefit. Every conceivable option they could use to achieve that outcome. What have they tried before? How did it fail? And how did they feel? What information do they see daily? And can it create objections? Market awareness and sophistication on other solutions plus our product. How does their problem possibly affect them in the near future? How did they feel when the problem actually became a problem? And how will they feel during the transformation to their goal state? We haven't found a way to do this probably with LLMs like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, whatever. So don't be afraid to put ours and your own hands dirty. I know this is the most frustrating thing to do. It's market research. Just to give you an idea of the depth of the research, we scraped over 50 pain points for our clients, and our competitor research doc was over 6 pages long. And it's not just like a ChatGPT deep research. It's ourselves going in the internet and scraping everything we can. Going this deep into a market allows you to execute the next phase flawlessly. So it's really, really, really important. It's like the foundation of a house. If the foundation is bad, the house cannot stand long. Let's move on. Phase 2. Separating yourself from the price wars. Once the research is done, we can get a range of fresh angles to go about. Next step is turning market insight into stories customers buy into scale. To stand out in a market, drowning lookalike promises, our best tools are ads and landing pages. Here are 4 steps of doing that. Name your problem differently. Push your unique mechanism, anti-mass targeting, and utilizing dual process theory. And now let's go over them one by one. So first, name the problem differently. At its core, it's all about knowing your customers better than they know themselves. Customers have seen 1,000 ads in the past week that vaguely describe their problems. If we want to convert at scale, we need to address their situation so specifically that they take action. We start by describing symptoms. The goal is to make the consumer feel like, wow, that is really me. Let's go over an example. So we scraped this from Reddit, and here is a woman explaining herself. Not even sure what words to use for this, but I have always been quite a laid-back person, never massively stressy, and never ever an angry person. I have had a habit of catastrophizing, which do I get from my mom, but it was so rare it was never an issue. I'm 37, and for the past 18 months or so, I have just become someone easily frazzled and very quick to anger. Everything relies me up, or I feel like complete catastrophe. It is driving me absolutely insane. I know some of this at least stems from a fear of loss and instability, but everything feels like so much, and I don't want to be like this. I want to be calm. I have not been on a hormonal birth control since 2015. Have regular blood tests for things like thyroid and deficiencies. I'm chronically ill. I have been since 2004. I am medicated for my thyroid and several non-hormonal things. My periods are mostly the same they have been for years, but I'm wondering if this sounds like a start of perimenopause. Can anyone relate at all? I feel like I'm losing my mind. So clearly, she has a problem. She has her own diagnosis, and she's not sure what is wrong with her. By reading this single post, you know their desires, pains, background, and so forth. You know everything that you need to make really good ad, creative, text and landing page for you. However, one might go and call out, I used to struggle with mood swings during menopause. I feel like that's already been said and done. Everybody knows that perimenopause can cause mood swings and emotional instability. We need to go deeper to differentiate you in the market. For example, if you used to stay calm and grounded, even when the life hit you from all sides, but now a single negative news article sends you into stress, anxiety, or anger, feeling like the world is about to end. Even if you are not using hormonal birth control, you could be experiencing a midlife emotional regulation deficit. And when the customer reads this, well, you can think by yourself, but I would think that, holy shit, that's exactly what I could be having or experiencing. It's something she hasn't heard before. After this, you would go find studies, articles, and social proof to back this newly established name, so it feels like real, relevant, and worth paying attention to. Then you explain why your product unique mechanism fixes their specific problem. The reason it works is super simple. Picture a friend telling you, take this and this will happen. You would probably want proof, studies, examples, or what I would like to hear is stories from people like you. That's exactly how ads should work. They don't sell you first, but diagnose, then prove, and then they solve your problem. We have used medical studies, trusted articles, our social proof, niche authorities, authentic content from real people and real users, and demonstrations. Let's go to the second part. Push your unique mechanism. This is one of the most powerful things in health, beauty, and wellness space, because most of the products have a formula, ingredient, or a technology that's unique. Let's say 3 out of 4 brands are saying, I fix my menopausal mood swings with this. And one brand pushes its mechanism. A rare Finnish berry made my nervous system relax, so I handle mood swings as calmly as in my 30s. If you do this, your consumer will click just out of curiosity, which is one of the most strongest human drivers. Let's think for a second. Why are you watching this? Is it because of curiosity? And if you do this, the rest of the competition is going to be looking like this. You don't even need to have the craziest ingredients in your product or the craziest mechanism. You just need to make the right person curious. We have used these 3 ways to push and name the mechanism. Naming the way your product works, then showing how it works better. Naming something your product does, or 3, naming your ingredients in a different way. Third, anti-mass targeting. I like this one very, very much. This method is all about making clear who the product is for and who it is not for. Targeting people like snipers creates relevance, and relevance builds trust, which makes your consumer feel like your solution works for them and they will buy. When you're super relevant, you gain market share from sub-niches, and of course, nothing stops you from creating multiple hyper-targeted ads at the same time. And here comes anti-mass targeting. And to make it work properly, take a moment to think about these next questions. With, how, polarize. Without, who, where, what, why, and when. Let me show you some examples. Explain why the person wanted the outcome. Example. I want a menopausal supplement because I want to be more productive and a better wife. Or without. What did they not have to do to achieve the outcome? I got rid of yellow stains without going to the whitening treatments. Or polarize, who the product is not for. This skincare routine isn't for you if you are looking for a quick cover-up. These are so effective and yet so simple. And step 4. Taking advantage of the dual process theory. This method is just straightforward. It's all about creating creatives that are truly creative, so the consumers receives a new stimuli. And this comes down to the dual process theory in psychology. In saturated and communized markets, buyers aren't evaluating ads, but filtering them out unconsciously. Humans process information in 2 systems. System 1 is fast, automatic, and emotional, and system 2 is slow and deliberate and analytic. And in communized markets, system 1 dominates, because at the end of the day, humans are pattern-seeking machines that want to save mental capacity. You probably noticed it yourself if you binge watch a series like The Walking Dead, for example. When a character wanders off alone, you already know a zombie attack is about to come. Or if you are watching a horror movie and the main character is watching towards the camera and behind him is a lot of room or staircase or a stairway. The hallways are the worst, man. You already know what's coming. So the same thing happens with the ads in a market you are in. System 1 is interrupted by novelty, which activates the system 2, thinking. This makes the prospect more prone to new solutions. Even if we have the same core claims as everyone else, super creative hook will break the pattern. For example, we have used sharks, valences, grommets, and rotten hamburgers to convey desires and fears for an oral care brand. Then we used the rest of the video, advertorial, listicle, to persuade the system 2 that it's worthwhile watching or reading it. I have seen this mechanism-based approach deliver up to 5 times better retention than specialized LTV and email agencies. This allowed the brands to spend more on ads and to grow even quicker and more. To make this whole strategy work, you need to nail phases 1 and 2 and execute them perfectly in phase number 3. And our final phase, creating a repeatable ad engine. At this stage, none of the anterior phases matter because your competitors can still copy you. You can literally track your competitors automatically using Atria or Foreplay if you want. But this also means they can track you and copy you. To create a moat around your product from your competitors, you need a systematic approach. So 1, market research. 2, testing creative and new concepts. 3, putting out research-backed content consistently. And 4, building teams of specialists, not generalists. Here is our creative ad engine, and everything starts from the research. Based on research, we make new concepts and iterations. Then we launch and monitor them, and then we think, were they reasonable investment of our time and funds? If they were, great, they got a lot of spend, then we can iterate of them and validate of them to make new concepts and launch again. But if they were not, we go back to the hypothesis and find out why this was the case. So we analyze our ads that work, why they worked, and if they didn't work, why they didn't work. If that ad that didn't work were right based on the hypothesis, does this give us a new area of information, or do we need to make more research? We make more research, we come up with a new concept and we launch. Was it the winner this time? Yes. and the engine runs all the time. With this, your competitors can try to copy you, yeah, but it doesn't hurt as much since you have new ads in a pipeline at all times. And if you nail the research part and the mechanism phase perfectly, your brand becomes almost impossible to copy. So, recap time. As you can see, as long as you research your audience inside out, you develop a mechanism-based positioning, and you pump out research-backed, unique creatives consistently, I have good news for you. You will be on track to do $200 months in no time. Option 1. You can of course find an agency that executes all the steps I just showed you and grows with your brand. But how has that turned out in the past? Now that you know the sauce, it doesn't guarantee that they do. You will spend over 20 hours trying to teach the agency what you want and then end up firing them 6 months after because they just messed it up. Or even worse, they won't execute anything because they have always done it their way. And now you wasted over $10,000 on retainers and other agency fees. Or 3, your valuable ad budget has again gone to Mark Zuckerberg's pocket without any real impact on growth. Or you can choose option 2. You can work with Prim Scaling and have us to execute the whole process I just walked you through and escape the market saturation. Again, this is for you if you are a DTC brand in a health, beauty and wellness space and you want to stop competing on price or even raise prices without losing customers and want to crack the first profitable $200,000 month outside of Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So what we have done in the past to our customers. Let's see our most recent case study here. Starting situation, a multi-7-figure oral health brand expanding to Sweden, which is a super utilized market for them. What we are doing, we are helping them grow in the Swedish market. First, we identified a specific customer pain point that no competitors were addressing. Then we positioned the product as the only logical option for that problem. And here, as you can see, first batch of static creatives we launched right after Christmas. We did $7,500 USD in a week. Not anything crazy, but total sales went up 23%, orders 21%, and conversion rate 91%. Here is 2 winning ads from that batch we created, and of course these are in Swedish. We turned out the product, which is a highly saturated and aware market. And now it's on its track to crack its first 50k month profitably. December 15th to January 15th, it did $23,000 in sales. And now we are starting to hit consistent $2,000 days. Here we did 1,800 for 24th of January and 25th of January we did $2,200 day. And as you can see, in a little over a month we managed to about double their sales. So when you work with us, you are able to stop competing on price and start scaling by outspending your competitors. Your new customers become more patient for your product to deliver results, which means they are ordering more frequently. Your product stops feeling like interchangeable in the eyes of the consumer. And higher conversion without the hype of exaggerated claims. You finally understand why scaling breaks at the higher spend instead of blaming Meta, Andromeda, seasonalities, or agencies. So how does this work? The first step is that our team conducts a lot of deep research on your audience, product, and competitors. We make sure that we understand the product and the market better than your competitors, which allows us to push angles that nobody else does. After the research is complete, we prepare a positioning strategy for your product. This strategy shows us how to differentiate it and prevent it from commoditization. This will roughly take 7 days. Then it's time to validate your position with fast-track creative tests. Using anti-mass targeting approach I just explained to you, we will launch 40 to 80 ad creatives, and these will be built around 4 to 8 angles that align tightly within your positioning. Combining of UGC and static images allows us to iterate and find the market of one within just 2 or 3 weeks. Our team is taking care of the post-click as well, because to run strong angles, we need strong backend to squeeze more profit per customer. By post-click, we mean advertorials, quiz funnels, and angle congruent product pages, as you can see here. And of course, we will monitor the whole funnel from media buying to CRO. After we have validated your positioning, we are ready to develop and start running your creative ad engine, which gives us a systematic approach to research, new concepts, and creative iterations, as I showed you in phase 3. This approach allows our team to pump out new research-backed concepts and iterations weekly. This is where competitors lose, and moat around your product starts forming. When the data and the economics allow, we are going to gradually increase the spending while maintaining healthy net profits. So no red on a balance sheet. Just to make one thing clear, at no point we are going to stop the full funnel monitoring. And you won't lose track of the process at any times because we are holding monthly success calls. Even when you send us a message, whether it's a complaint, an idea, or a fire that needs to be put out, we will respond in 24 hours. On weekdays, this will be more effective, more quicker, but even on the weekends, 24 hours, we guarantee it. This leads to you having one less burden to worry about while moving forward with your business, reaching those profitable $200,000 months. So, what's the next steps? If you are curious, what would this look like to your brand? Next step is to book a discovery call with me. You can do it in this form or right there on our website. You won't be dealing with a sales rep. You will be directly speaking to me. And together we will break down your product, your goals, and see if there is a real scaling potential between two of us. If we determine that we are a good fit, Julius and I will personally audit your account to ensure we can drive growth and fix your CPA. Based on the audit, we will create a roadmap for your brand, which we present to you. You will leave the call with a clear roadmap tailored to your brand. No strings attached. You can take the plan and implement it with your own team or have us to execute it for you. Our pricing model is built on a simple truth. We cannot scale unprofitable ads. This creates a perfect cycle of growth for both of us because we get paid on a percentage of what our ads spend in your ads manager. And our initiative is to develop more and better ads, to increase profitable spend, to drive you more revenue. And typically we can only onboard 2 brands per month because we want to keep the quality as high as possible without any effects. So if this sounds good to you, book a call with me. Let's see if we are a fit and if we can work together to grow your brand and make you more money. And if you are not convinced still, here's a little Q&A for you. So, How do I know you are not just another agency that sounds smart and disappoints us in 3 months? And I get that. It's a fair assumption. And most brand owners we talk ask this after firing their multiple agencies. The agencies knew how to execute, but their initiatives were not in the right place. No actual discipline to grow the brand. So whether the agency performed or not, they got paid, right? And in most of the cases, quite a lot. Well, we don't. If your unit economics don't improve, we failed. What if this won't work for us? Our market is insanely saturated. And I love this because this strategy is exactly what works in extremely saturated markets. If your market were unsaturated, any agency could bring crazy good results. But once customers don't believe any claims anymore, only positioning and mental framing will move the needle. We don't try to outspend bigger brands at first. We make them irrelevant by reframing the problem they are making money on. This is also a critical thing that I get asked a lot. Are you aware of the claims that are allowed to make? And yes, we are. I actually seen a brand get hit with a 6-figure fine from the FTC from misleading claims and breaking multiple laws simultaneously. And if you are looking to scale, something like this can really happen. It's not too far-fetched. That's why we use something called umbrella mechanism, which encompasses multiple symptoms and conditions under one scientifically backed process. Then your product addresses this broader mechanism rather than specific disease/medical problems. Or are you going to get in a strict contact with me? No. You can fire us whenever you want within 30-day notice. We already have an agency or in-house team. That's fine. And here's the thing. We are not replacing execution. Of course we can if needed, and we have for all of our brands. However, we are going to fix the strategy layer that most teams don't touch. And let me ask you, if your current setup were working, why would you be reading this or watching this video? And how hands-off is this? And you can be as much or as little in the trenches you want. We can have a monthly sales call, or you can contact and we could have meetings weekly or bi-weekly, whatever you want. So this is all of it. Now it's time to book a calendar meeting with me. Let's see if we are a fit. And yeah, I hope I see you in a call. Bye.